Pathfinder Kingmaker. I made this video after 250 hours. That's how long it took for me to finish the game. I saw 99% of the game and what it has to offer, so here is my fair review for Bugfinder Quest Killer Infinite Loading Reloading Village Management. Well, here's how I see a Pathfinder. It's a diamond covered with shit from some huge animal. Imagine an elephant turd, or even better, a T-Rex huge pile of shit. You will need to dig through that T-Rex mountain of shit so you can finally reach the diamond, and by the time you do that, you will be exhausted from bugs, glitches, stinking, and loading screens so much that you will leave the diamond in the same pile of shit you found it. First segment, the story. Without spoiling anything, it opens up strange, and it will end strange too. 11 companions are memorable and never boring, though some of their personal quests are far from perfect. Cool story for the main quest, especially in the first 4 chapters. Very few segments in the game are voice acted, and that's a big disappointment, at least for me. It was a big disappointment. You know it gets tiresome when you have to read for 8 hours in a row. 7 out of 10 for story. Game time. It took me 250 hours to finish the game, along with kingdom management issues and non-stop reloading. 50 hours or more were loading screens, and even with that aside, it's still a huge game. Good replay value also, but I'll wait for a year or more so they can fix 1 million bugs, and maybe they'll also add some DLCs. 9 out of 10 for the game time. The game is huge. Game difficulty for the next section. 5 to 6 different difficulties to play on, along with custom mod. Diversity in difficulties is huge, but how does it make a difference on a game? You have to realize that this is like 40% finished game, and it's completely unbalanced and full of bugs. RNG plays a huge role too. The biggest role is RNG, after all. For example, to finish a fight on a challenging difficulty, you will need 1 or 2 tries. For hard difficulty, it will take 1 to 5 attempts, and for unfair, 5 to 50 attempts to roll a good hit or a crit. Enemies, on the other hand, and encounters can be right-clicking on hard difficulty for 30 hours in a row, and then stupid monarchs and wild hunt will one-shot you with crits later on. 4 out of 10 for this section, cause it never gave any satisfaction when winning a fight. RNG was a factor in most of the cases, and not the actual skill of a player. Next section, maps and graphics. One huge map of stolen lands with more than 100 maps, mini-maps to visit. Small, medium, large, and huge maps. Graphics are fine, even for Unity engine. Map diversity is huge, plus summer and winter changes looks of the maps depending on a season. Yeah, I like animations for spells, explosions, and aura buffs effects. 8 out of 10 for this section. Next section, my favorite one for the game, is game bugs and optimization. Constant memory leaks cause of Unity engine means constant restart on every 2 hours of playtime, which means look at the main loading screen for 5 minutes to enter the game. It's not cool, in other words, it's irritating. In my opinion, it's the most disgusting experience that I had with a full price game in my life, and this is not a cheap game. No matter if you play on low or ultra high settings, there will be memory leaks and the game will work the same frames. You will experience lag in some areas where there's fire or a lot of smoke. That's the Unity engine. The further you are into the game, it works worse and worse and worse with bigger and longer loading screens. Hell, even quick saves take 20 seconds after 100 hours. Frames will go from 10 frames per second to 60, and it's all random because this game was never tested and it's completely unoptimized. Speaking of testing, I got to test it for 250 hours and I found more than 1 million bugs. In other words, there was a bug on every 5 minutes of the game. Minor bugs, small bugs, bigger bugs, game-breaking bugs, crashes, lags, frames issues, corrupted saves, and dodging bugs non-stop is how I'll remember this game. 0 out of 10 for this section, and I'm polite with this rating, it should be in minus. It broke my nerves completely for 40 days and 40 nights. I was exhausted with bugs, exhausted with loading screens, so much that I couldn't start any other game for the next 3 to 4 days after. Even the ending was in loading screen. 0 out of 10. Gameplay is the next section. You will loot, equip your team, fight. There are a lot of encounters in Pathfinder. You'll solve puzzles, travel, backtrack, hunt, rest, recover, explore. Everything that you expect from a CRPG is covered in Pathfinder. On the other hand, Kingmaker is called Kingmaker for a reason. You start small, with one territory, and along the way you will conquer other territories and manage your kingdom by solving problems and opportunities with your faithful advisors. If this was a smooth experience, and if this game was released after 2 or 3 years in making, instead of only 1 year, then gameplay would be close to be a 10 out of 10. Now, in this current state, kingdom management is awful, and most of the fights are RNG based encounters. There are cool parts in the game, I can't deny that, but still, it was a painful experience to play something unfinished as Pathfinder Kingmaker. 6 out of 10 for gameplay. Itemization. Cool items, most of them, of course, bugged. This game is rich with two-handed melee weapons and poor with daggers or bows or crossbows. 90% of items in this game are bloody two-handed melee weapons. In other words, you got only one of your companions that will be able to use two-handed melee weapons. The more items you have in your inventory, the more legs you will have while you're playing. There are tons of bullshit items, for example, like wooden spoons that sell for 1 coin only. And I don't even know why do they exist in a game. Let me be clear here. There are 1 million items in the game when 99% of them are completely useless, and they're only there to make this game even slower than it actually is, and even buggier than it actually is. Whoever did itemization for this game should be fired immediately. There are 1000 different things I could talk about for this section, but it's not worth my time anymore. 3 out of 10 for itemization. Next section, leveling and classes. A lot of classes with multi-classing options for all of them, triple multi-class, dual multi-class, whatever you like to play. Each time you level up, it feels huge and important for progress, and that's a good thing. It can be confusing for casual players because this game is hardcore and complicated as hell. There are no respec points available, and you can't make a single mistake in leveling, especially on harder difficulties. You will pick from 50 different feats on every level, so care what you choose. Options you'll have for every class are many, and I would highly suggest to search for some guides before starting this game. But I know there are very few good guides for this game. Some of the classes are bugged, some of the classes are weak, while some are OP. That's cause the game is unfinished. 7 races and more than 15 classes along with multi-classing options gives Pathfinder a huge variety for this segment if it worked well. But it doesn't. 8 out of 10 for leveling and classes. Next section is audio and NPC. Good main theme, quite memorable too, since it takes 5 minutes or so to enter the game. You will hear it non-fucking stop whenever you enter. This tune from Inonzur. Talking about Inonzur, remove the monetization from Pathfinder main theme. I paid for it. You bloody asshole. 3 tunes only in the game that will repeat non-stop, unfortunately. Voice acting is rare, but when it's there, it's actually solid. It's good. strong sound effects, but even the music is bugged in this game, believe it or not. Sometimes the volume will go up, sometimes it will be late, sometimes it will expire completely with nothing but silence remaining. I also had a bug where I could hear squirrels for 10 hours in a row in loading screens on maps, even in a throne room, and it drove me insane. 5 out of 10 seems fair for this section. Conclusion. We have 9 sections with exactly 50 points, and that would be 5.5, or in my personal opinion, because of the lies from the old cat, it's 4 out of 10 for Pathfinder Kingmaker. It was rushed, incomplete, painful, and disgusting experience, even for me, and I'm a huge CRPG fan. What sucked the most, this game was released as finished product for $50. And it's not even in a state of alpha version. If it was selling as alpha for 50 to for from 15 to $20, it would be fine and the score would be higher. If we take a fraud and price in combination with everything, then this game is 4 out of 10. Old Cat used players as beta testers for a full fucking price. Once, and if they fix all the bugs and optimize this garbage that they call Unity Engine, it will be a solid 8 out of 10 experience. If they release DLCs for the game, they should give them to us, beta testers, for free as an apology, or I'll never buy anything else from Old Cat ever again. Avoid it like plague in this state now. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.